Right, I'm live now.
What's going on?
I'm live.
Okay, cool. I didn't know you were already live.
I just went live.
Oh, are you streaming or you just recording OBS?
Streaming for now.
You just gonna use the audio from this?
I'm also excuse me. I'm streaming along with recording at the same time.
Okay, I didn't know you could do both at the same time.
Creator dashboard. Stream manager.
You want to test and see if it even picked up any of the audio we just did?
Give me just a second. I'm looking. Let's see. Do I not see my stream? Okay, there it is. Let's see, making sure everything's good. Let's capture that. Should capture my audio. Make sure everything's good. Let's capture that. Should capture my audio. Make sure everything's good. Okay, go back to the creator dashboard, to the stream manager. Okay. Do you just want to copy and paste that into Discord? Damn, a bunch of my other friends are all in voice chat together. It's like 7 live people. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Did you want to go in there?
Nah.
Okay.
And the last 2 places I'm going to post are x.com. Sometimes I wonder why I'm on Blue Sky because I open up and I see something I don't want to see.
Is Blue Sky that bad? I've never I don't have one. I
No,
don't even
it
think
just depends on who you follow.
I just know that Facebook's like weirdly horny now.
Oh, well, Blue Sky's no different.
Okay.
All right, what was I doing here last time?
I don't know. I think you had built all the skins or gotten all the armor for Kabuto before we finished the series.
Yeah, I did get Kabuto. I think they're in here.
Oh, did your audio end up working?
Some stuff is working. This off over here.
I'm just making sure it's picking up both of us.
Yeah, I believe it's picking up both of us. Hold on, let me check the channel, making sure.
I'm just
I
making
mean,
sure
if
it's
you
picking up both
recording,
of us. I didn't know if I didn't want to have
Yeah,
to say all this about the show and then
yeah.
have it go
It,
on.
it picked you up.
Okay, cool. Oh, I see a sunken ship. Completely upside down, I think. Oh, it's sideways.
Also using stream elements for the first time, so I hope that helps.
I don't know what that means.
That's fine. Where did Twitch go? I probably exited out on accident. I did. All right.
You want me to open up my spreadsheets?
You can open up your spreadsheets.
So Khalil, we've been on a Kamen Rider kick for the last fucking
2 months, 3
yeah,
months.
2 months. It started with I think we started with Shin Kamen Rider.
No, we started with Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider,
Oh, that's right. Tojima wants to be Kamen Rider.
and then we just
So
went down the rabbit hole, and it just got worse from there.
and we watched Shin Kamen Rider to start us off, and me and you split off at the actual opposite sides of the series. I started with Kamen Rider Ichigo, and you're starting with Zex.
Yeah, I watched Zest's Zeztz.
However you pronounce it.
I still don't know how to pronounce that.
Do they not say it in the show for whatever reason?
They do, but it keeps sounding like sex.
Oh, Kamen Rider Sex.
I
Don't look that up.
don't think I want to.
um, but you're starting at the very big. I'm starting at the very beginning. You're starting at the very end. But we decided that we were going to start in the middle together in the Heisei era. Which, for anybody that hasn't watched any Kamen Rider, there's 41 series, which is crazy, and we didn't know where to start
40. I
off.
think it's 42 now.
40,
They
42.
did announce one.
Myth, but Myth isn't out yet. But 41, 42 series, about 1 to 2 movies for every series. It it is the Japanese man's Doctor Who. Just a massive
That's
series.
still funny to think about.
I mean, it's basically that. The special effects make me think about it all the time. I'm watching Ichigo, which is the first series, and it's just sometimes they have the spider, like a lot of the like namesake ones. Like if you watch Tojima, they have the spider and the Batman in the first 2 episodes. Both of them get beaten and then come back multiple times. Like after that, I think I think they come back once at least before Nico takes over. But you know, then other weeks it'll be a flying squirrel man that looks like a taxidermied rat. Like its eyes, that it didn't have eyes. It was squinting the entire time and float. Like the flying effects are really funny. How people get killed, like they turn into bubbles the same way they do in Shin Kamen Rider or in Tojima.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just the spider that turns people into bubbles in that one. The chakra combatants don't have like all the armor and stuff. Uh, Sorry, they don't have the skeleton design yet. Where I was at in Ichigo, they had like all of them look like the female combatants in Tojima, where they have the green or blue face paint with the red. And Shocker has now been explained to me as like basically the Axis powers split up, and the Nazi regime, like the Nazis technology got adopted by an organization that branched off from the Axis powers, and it is the Shocker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
there's even a moment where like one of early episode in the series, one of the shockers, I think it's either the Gecko Man or like some other kind of amphibian or reptile, but we'll say Gecko Man. He's looking for Hitler's treasure, and at one point they find the buried treasure, dig it up, and he opens the box. He's like, "Finally, Hitler's treasure." Kamen Rider, and Kamen Rider's inside the box, having buried himself so long ago that the grass has grown back.
Oh man, it's always funny to think about that. Just you know, Kamen Rider is always hilarious. It's like a cartoon, but it's not. And it's always funny to me.
Especially the sound effects for the belts, which I hope Tojima gets some kind of Kamen Rider outfit. Maybe it's the first one, maybe it's his own, if they continue the series. But branching off from that, we went to Shin Kamen Rider, which is just a gorier version of the original Ichigo, but shortened by a lot. Like I'm watching Ichigo, and there's moments where I watch Shin Kamen Rider, and I'm like, oh, they just redid that or reused that scene. There's like a scene where all of the combatants are like in the first episode of original Kamen Rider Ichigo. They all stab down at his feet and then stab at the air simultaneously. They redid that in Shin Kamen Rider, but like unlike Shin Kamen Rider, yeah, he's killing these combatants essentially, but like they're not turning into puffs of blood or clouds of blood every time he hits one of them. But after Shin Kamen Rider, we decided to both take on a series together and take on our own, and we both decided that YouTube. I think the Tokuset's YouTube channel had put out an episode or two of Kabuto and Agito, and I'm glad we didn't watch Agito yet because it's a sequel. I'm sure we can enjoy it without watching Kuga, but I
Yeah.
really want to watch Kuga next. Kabuto ended up having two episodes. We watched it. We liked it enough to continue the series, and we have since watched the entire thing. And this is just us jotting down our opinions of the series before we watch the movies, because I'm hoping the movies like fill in some details for us.
So, um, while we were watching it, we did look up see what the names of the movies were. There's Godspeed Love, which is apparently a prequel to the whole Kabuto series.
Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's supposedly explains what happened to the Shibuya incident
Sorry,
or
I
Tokyo
also
incident.
it isn't it also Shibuya, like we joked about it being Jujutsu Kaisen in the middle of
Yeah,
watching it,
yeah,
like
yeah,
the meteor that fell with Sukuna.
yeah.
Horrible so premise of the series, horrible tragedy happens in I believe Shibuya. Uh, a giant meteor crash lands in the middle of the city, decimating like the population. A lot of people died. A lot of people made it out and are living traumatically or living with trauma. And there are these creatures that come from the meteorite after it lands, called the worm. They don't have shocker in the series. They have like specifically the worms, and they can be anybody. Uh, they change into the appearance of somebody, and then sometimes they kill them with like ooze or webbing.
And
Other
sometimes,
times, go ahead.
and sometimes they just stare at them and they're dead.
Yeah, you just, like you walk in like a green creature that has like hands praying over its face turns into you, and then your heart stops immediately. You are done, and this thing has acquired all of your memories and will use them to convince the people that you love that it is you. It's a little messed up. I did enjoy anytime the worms were like you sometimes you think, oh, they won't. Obviously, there's gonna be spoilers and us talking about this, but one that got me was whenever the first time we saw a kid was actually a worm, and they there's no rule saying they can't turn into kids, but the whole time they just didn't.
Yeah. Let's. I'm trying to remember which kid are we talking about specifically? The
It,
school or the
the
uh.
school was way later. I'm talking about the compound, the factory that Kagami was in, and he finds the kid underground and they're hidden
Oh
eating
yeah,
like eating snacks that he finds. Um, but
yeah,
that's the first one that got me with the transformations. It was about midway through the series.
yeah. That was also I think the episode where he started to become Gatak. Um.
Attack being the Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Center.
So how should let me try to think about how I'm gonna say this. Um. Gatak is the Blue Beetle. Apparently, in that universe, it's known as the God of Battles. It loves to fight. But it chose Kagami as its user, and honestly, it kind of took it a while to choose him. And it was kind. I did not like it. It took a while, but also I understand why it took a while.
Let's revisit Kagami real quick. I want to start from. I'm looking at the episode list and I want to kind of go down the line. I don't want to go one by one, but I do want to say, all right. So we start off with Kagami and Tendo. Kagami, I thought originally watching the series he was just a big wimp. No, he was just incompetent and throwing himself in dangerous situations he didn't have any business doing so. Um, he it starts off with like these ex members who all look like Kamen Rider Black kind of, and they just start unloading on the worms. And the worms are just eating these bullets and taking down all these guys left and right. Kagami grabbing this. If you're into the Kamen Rider series at all, he grabs a belt, which is usually like the means of transformation into the actual rider. He runs out, goes to reach into the sky. It doesn't really explain, but apparently they can reach into the air and pull out these insects or these zectors, which I guess is short for insect. But they reach out and the beetle appears in the sky. It's a red beetle, and he goes to reach for it. It passes him up, and another guy who comes out of seemingly nowhere snatches it out of the air, already having a belt on him, puts it on, and this is how we're introduced to Tendo. I think we kind of see him a little bit before that, right? Close.
There
Couldn't you
was
say?
a moment when Kagami was like doing something else, and he passes him up, and he's like, "Who's this weirdo?" And just that's it. And then we
Right.
realize later on that this guy is that guy that we just saw. He apparently has ownership of the beetle,
And
which
we
is
don't know why.
we
We don't
don't
know
know
why he
why.
has the belt.
At that time, we didn't know. We didn't know really till the end of the whole show.
Um, but he ends up putting the suit on, and it turns into this armored suit. That pulls out a gun and just starts blasting these worms and killing them left and right, except for the ones that molt. When the worms molt, they transform from their larva green forms into like an assortment of different colors and forms that are all like goop blasting smoke monsters. Like they just attack with the weirdest stuff that just instantly kills anybody they come into contact with, except for the riders. And they have this ability to clock up, meaning they just go into like hyperspeed, and just start kicking the shit out of everybody in the room. The riders are the only people other than them able to do this. Well, Tendo has this suit on. It's presumed that they can't clock up when they have the first forms of the suits on. But then they cast off, which is throwing the first layer of their armor off for an even more slim or an even slimmer form that they can clock up in and fight the worms with. And Tendo is the opposite of Kagami. Like he's not incompetent at all. He's overconfident. The cockiest guy ever. I actually hated him for the first quarter of the series.
I also hated him for the first quarter of the series, but I also hated the guy that what's his name work with so,
We'll get to him in a second because he comes up next.
yeah.
But there's Tendo is a character that it's the opposite of Kagami. Kagami is just floundering. He's awkward. Tendo is composed. We have no idea like what he is. I always felt like Tendo was like the Sherlock character because he's always solving the mystery, and Kagami being the Watson, he's asking the questions that the audience wants to ask. Like just going along with what Tendo puts him through. Kagami works for Zect, the organization that's in charge of these Zectors, these things that are flying around, which this doesn't really get explained kind of what they are. You kind of just absorb the information as the series goes through. A lot of it's just not handed to you. But Kagami ends up following Tendo through this series while Tendo is I don't think Kagami tells anybody who the rider is, right, for a long time.
No, he doesn't. Kagami has a history in the show from just not telling people stuff they probably should tell them. Oh hey, I got a taboo boss block.
Nice.
Um, that's my one gripe about Kagami that he doesn't tell people stuff that probably should tell somebody.
He does this multiple times throughout the series. He just keeps getting information and won't share it at all.
Yeah,
But
and
sometimes he,
it does get very annoying. Yes.
but this is his job. His primary job. His second job is working at a restaurant with Hiyori, our third protagonist of the series, who is this girl that we kind of don't get a lot of like the only information is that her parents are gone. She works in a restaurant. She's friends with Kagami and
She's also super awkward half the time too.
yeah, she then becomes friends with Tendo throughout the series, but Tendo keeps shadowing Kagami. There's like a whole bit where Hiyori makes this miso mackerel or whatever,
Yeah,
and
it's a type of
Tendo
miso
keeps
soup, apparently.
Tendo keeps going to like eat it before Kagami gets there because Kagami was promised the food, and that's how they end up seeing each other. As they end up all going to this restaurant throughout the series. Kagami because he works there, Tendo he eats there, Hiyori she also works there. It's
Also to put into reference, Tendo is apparently a master chef. Uh, whatever he cooks usually apparently is the most delicious thing ever, except
food is a
for
big in this.
yeah, except for like a couple episodes. But when we get there, we'll talk about that.
Let's see. There's early on they show us that they're not afraid to kill characters off because they introduce uh, Kagami's brother. I'm trying to see if I can
Little
find
brother.
his little brother that's kind of been estranged, but like it's not even a big thing. He just gets turned into replaced by a worm at some point, and the same episode he's introduced is the same episode that he gets killed off in. Kagami's whole ordeal is that his father isn't involved in his life, and so that's kind of why like his brother gets falls into being a delinquent and ends up getting killed by the worm. So one of the worms somewhere out
So
in the forest.
the thing about his brother is that he did die very early on. The whole reason he's joined Zex was because his brother died and he wants to avenge him.
No,
But
he was part of Zek before his brother died.
no, that his brother died when he was very young. Was his whole reasoning.
Oh no, Kagami's brother was in the series. Like there was a whole thing about him seeing his brother again whenever he was older.
Yeah,
It was like
that was the worm.
I know it was the worm, but he didn't know his brother was killed by the worm at that point.
I mean, he did because there was a whole backstory of him playing baseball with them and he died.
And his brother Khalil, I don't think his brother died until like he got revealed to be a worm. Like his brother obviously died beforehand, but that's not why he joined Zect. I thought.
That's what I got out of it. I'm pretty sure he joined Zek because he wanted to avenge his brother.
Let me see this.
Oh, hey, I found a clerk.
Sometimes they sell stuff.
This guy only has an alchemist ring and red dust.
All I could get them to sell was in the alchemist ring. What's that in the background right here?
Probably my wife listening to something. Let me go close the door.
Okay, it was the. Can you hear me, Chloe?
What's up?
You were right. It's been a minute since I've seen it. So his brother was killed. Avenge his younger brother who's killed by worms.
Yeah, that was the whole that was the whole reason I thought he joined Zext was in the first place was because
I thought he saw his brother again though. I guess he was confused because he was replaced by the worms.
I mean, if you see what looks like a guy who looks like your brother after he died, like you would be curious too about him, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, I'd probably like report it, kill him. I don't know.
Well, you also got to remember this guy doesn't report shit.
Yeah, you're right. Which is like half of the conflict for Kagami. Then we get to the next point of the series, Angry Tofu. You remember the tofu guy that was like laughing at Tendo's bullshit every time he would show up, and his little beef between us. It was Yagaruma. This is the guy, the first rider we get in the series besides Tendo.
Oh yeah, that guy, the perfect harmony at the is what was his stick right there.
Yeah, he led a part of Zek called Shadow, just the Ambu Black Ops of Zek for some reason. A secret organization's even more secret task force. They're basically the SWAT team. They show up and they were able to like down some of the worms because of his suit. Not even I don't even think I've seen a Zek member until later in the series with the like worm bomb actually take down any of the worms whatsoever. So you have to have a rider suit if you want to take down any of the worms, at least in the first couple.
With the shadow part, they do take care of worms. Like they did kill worms, yes, but they only did it because like they damaged it, and then perfect harmony guy
That's
finishes.
what I'm saying. He has to finish them. But I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm not giving them an assist for that. They don't get an assist because he could have killed the worms without it. Um, but this is the first rider we see get the suit. He has a. It's kind of he is the brief antithesis to Tendo, and they have like little cook-off matches and stuff like that to go throughout the series. I'm trying to look. Some of these different episode names are a little weird. So, let's see. Angry Tofu, I think, is when he gets episode 8 is when he gets introduced, and then I'm looking. The team dissolves. Episode 13 is whatever he gets. So he's only there for 5 episodes.
Yeah, this guy also comes back is very hilarious way later on.
The I'm not your friend bit is in these episodes. It's where Tendo tells Kagami, like, Kagami's like, man, we've been hanging out. You've been on our friend group and stuff. And Tendo goes, I'm not your friend.
Yeah,
Like,
Tendo's just being like straight up an ass for no absolute reason. Oh, holy shit! Spawn the rider.
you need help.
He has a scythe.
It might be one. It might be. Are you sure it's a rider and not like a monster from Gag?
It said, hold on. Jayam Atto Rider.
Okay.
Anyway, what we're saying?
We were talking about the bee. We were talking about how he is kind of a rival for Tendo for like a few episodes, and then he just kind of gets disbanded. That's right, he becomes unworthy of the bee. Like the bee flies out of the sky, goes into his hand, puts it onto his wrist, turns into the bee. Gets
Let's
full
go
power.
gambling. All right, sorry, I had to.
You're good. Um, but he does. I forget what he does to become unworthy. The bee ends
Uh,
up leaving him.
I don't know. I just remember it wasn't. It was very much bullshit because the guy they chose afterwards was probably more unworthy than him. Oh no, Kagami becomes the bee afterwards.
Yeah. So briefly, that was like episode. I want to say like back. He wants to know the doctor and possible storm restored memories. Farewell going. A lot happens in these episodes, Khalil. A lot of it's bleeding together for me. Like next time we watch one of these, I'm taking some notes down so I have some plot points to talk about. Because like Kagami gets the suit, becomes worthy of the bee. He ends up joining Zex for a little bit and leading Shadow. Shadow ends up like dissolving because they don't want to work for Kagami because Kagami doesn't want to fight Tendo because Zek is tired of another rider being out there and using his powers to fight the worm. Even though he's doing their job, they don't. As long as he's not working with them, he's against them. So they try to pit them up against each other. I think they fight briefly, but not enough to really matter. I don't think Kagami wants to fight him at all.
No, Kagami just doesn't see him as a bad guy at this point in time. He's like, oh, this is the guy that we go to whenever we need help. That was the whole Tendo shtick at the moment.
Right.
Uh, and he did like he really didn't want to follow orders and have to kill him and yada yada yada. It's just my best friend is what it was the whole shtick at this point.
Right. Uh, with let's see. So I'm just going off these episode titles because like there's no real trippers. I could go through, I guess, the whole thing, but at some point in this, the Drake is introduced. He is a makeup artist. I'm trying to read Daisuke Kazuma and his apprentice Gon.
Yeah.
Gon is a little girl that has amnesia. Are you good?
Yeah. Sorry.
Daisuke is the Drake. He has a dragonfly that appears out of nowhere, goes onto the little hilt of his gun, and it docks onto there, and all he does is like blast the shit out of the worms. He is a makeup artist. He is a very famous makeup artist in this area. A lot of women pay him for like modeling and stuff. He has an apprentice, Gon. Her whole deal is she has amnesia. She Something happened in the Shibuya incident, and she has no memory about what happens. She got separated.
We get a explanation for that later. If you care to
I
talk about
mean,
it now.
we can just talk about Gon. Yeah, like her mother basically got separated from her during a worm attack.
Yeah,
That's
which
kind of
was on a bus. Like she was on a bus to going somewhere. Her and her mother, and a worm appeared somewhere and bumped into that bus, which then caused her to have amnesia and also like be separated from her mother somehow. Also, Daisuke just can't live without her anymore.
Daisuke like can't even form a full sentence without Gon coming in and completing the sentence for him. But Gon is going to go because in episode 18, Khalil, which isn't that long. Maybe we had a little space in between episodes we watched, but you have Farewell Gon, which is right after the episode quote restored memories. So she is not with him very long.
Yeah.
And she goes off with her mother for a bit. Good story for her. Daisuke is kind of an enigma. That man appears, has no reason to be gone, and then just comes back every now and then. But he is the third rider we get in the series.
which
His
is
design's cool.
his what?
His design's cool.
His design is very cool. I do like the fact that it's based on a dragonfly. You know, because I do think dragonfly is pretty cool. I kind of like Gun Mega from Pokemon because of it.
Yeah.
Um, but my only like thing about it is like, okay, now he can't live without Gon because Gon finishes his sentences, but also like he can't do makeup now without Gon. It's like I know you're probably used to her helping you out, but my man, just do your job.
Yeah, he's letting his job slip. We'll get back to Daisuke at some point because some very funny shit happens with Daisuke. What happens after that is Scorpion Millionaire, the episode. We are introduced to somebody who was even somehow they
Worse.
yeah, no, Tendo was my least favorite character for a little bit, just because he's a pompous asshole for like the first quarter of the series. But then we're introduced to Sugiri Kamashiro. He's part of the Descabille family. Very wealthy. He is that hence the name episode Scorpion Millionaire. He kills the worms for money. He already has a ton of money because of his family. Let's forget about him because the best character in the series is introduced in the same episode. Gia, the 65-year-old butler that hangs out with this man and is the sweetest man in this entire series. And I could say straight up, nothing happens to this man. He makes it through the series, and I'm so happy for that. If anything happened to Gia, I would have dropped the series immediately.
So whenever we got to a Gia episode, it was always funny. I think the funniest part about Gia was his twin brother that just
Oh,
randomly it lives in the fucking mountains and just is apparently the best cook in the world, or something along that line. And his only teachings was like, "There's a time and place for everything."
this that episode's great. This makes me feel like there might be a joke episode or at least two joke episodes in every Kamen Rider series. There has to be. Like for that to happen, a lot of series do that. Like where it's like the whole plot serious until we get to like the little joke bits. But there's like a two-part cooking episode where one of the like we'll not talk about this later because we're talking about it now. But like there's a worm that loves to cook for some reason because it brings out the emotions in humans. And so it has the coolest design of any of the worms I've ever seen in this series, but immediately gets like downed in the two-parter. He is using something called the famed dark knife to cook, and it improves his cooking qualities. He already was like sending people to heaven whenever he cooks, not killing them. People would fly off of the screen.
It was a what's that anime that does basically the same thing?
Food Wars.
Food Wars. It was basically Food Wars before Food Wars. Because this was in 2006 to 2008, I believe, when this show
Yeah.
was premiering in Japan. Speaking of which, yesterday I went down a rabbit hole. Trip was with me in a call. Apparently, there is some Kamen Riders, like that got dubbed into English. Few of them are found, but most of them apparently is lost media.
I just have a vague memory of like Kamen Rider Ryuki or some other Kamen Rider being on JetX. If anybody watches this ever and can tell me which Kamen Rider was on like JetX or Disney XD or something like that, that even if it was for a brief period, I need somebody to tell me because we couldn't figure it out. I don't know what I'm getting this from, but for some reason it was on satellite TV in Central America, Central North America, and I just remember seeing some Kamen Rider, not Power Rangers, some Kamen Rider, and I can't remember which one it is. I really want help figuring that out. Let's see.
It's crazy though, because like back then when TV was popular, uh, Power Rangers was like my go-to growing up. I used to watch Time Force, I think it was.
Time Force is the second one with Trip the Green Ranger.
Yeah, and all I remember is like about that show was like, oh, we have time stuff. I'm a guy from the future come to the past to fix stuff or something along that line.
I just remember the guy Green Ranger being named Trip and having a green crystal on his forehead, and
That's
there was a
fu-
train.
that's funny. Maybe I should revisit that since we're also watching Kamen Rider, and there's some
I don't know, dude.
similarities.
I'm scared that I'm gonna go down an Ultraman rabbit hole from the
I've already
60s.
gone down that rabbit hole, and I've watched a movie like last year. It was I think it was an animated Ultraman movie. It's on Netflix.
You do have to watch Shin Ultraman with me at some point.
It's made by the same people.
I know Ano directs it and works on the project, and I really want to see what he does with it.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to Kabuto. Um, there's a lot of stuff in that show that makes me laugh. What was the Scorpion guy's name again?
Sugiri.
Sugiri.
Yeah.
Sugiri makes me laugh half the time. And it's never on purpose. It's literally because of he's a guy who just doesn't know how the world works, which
He's rich.
which at the time you would think it's because he was a rich guy, but it turns out it's not even because of that. It's because he's a worm. The apparently a main plot point in this show was if a person's acting not normal, there's a high chance that person's a worm. If you're probably wondering like what's normal, it's like uh how can I say it? It's like if they act like a kid that gets excited in a toy store.
Yeah, except for Tendo. Tendo's weird. Like not Toy Store weird, but like just he's a very eccentric character. He's not a worm. At
He's
least
not
he's
his,
not. We're not going to talk about that yet.
yeah. So
Noted. Let's see. What episode are we on? So Gia gets introduced. Stag Beetle. It said the episode's versus Stag Beetle. Episode 21. I believe that at this point, uh, Kagami has lost the bee, and is now having to gain Gattack in order to fight his way through. That's right. He wants to save the kid down at the bottom of the that we talked
factory.
about before at the bottom of the factory. So to do that, he has to gain Gattack. Well, he gets betrayed by the kid saying that he's Gattack, and he has to send him off in his own special way. So he reaches out and pulls Gattack from the sky after Gattack destroys the vault that it was in. That it could have broken out at any moment. To go to Kagami.
So okay, another thing I gotta say. Apparently, only Gattack and the Beetle have sentience.
Do the
No,
others not?
the others don't do anything. Oh, the Scorpion just like crawls out the ground sometimes, or just from wherever. But
Well, they were all flying around his house, around Tendo's house later in the series, like just chilling out.
right, but like they don't show any other signs of intelligence besides like the Drake telling what's his name, like, hey, we gotta go fight over here in the corner. And a lot of the times he doesn't really even want to fight. That's another thing about him. Like he doesn't care about being a writer until really realistically probably later to where he actually likes being one.
We don't know why anybody's worthy of anything in this series. They just are.
Not did we even ever get an answer to the book in the underground on why his name was there 35 years ago?
It was. I don't think so. I'm gonna pause in between coughs so you can edit out my talking. Talking.
Oh no,
But
I'm just gonna upload it raw as it is right now.
okay.
I don't think it needs any editing besides like my coughs, but that's like it. What is this? Found another spawner. What spawns here?
Let's see, what were we talking about?
Oh, it's that cheetah thing again. Found another cheetah spawner.
Khalil, what were we talking about?
We're talking about what makes a rider worthy. We
Yeah,
don't barely
so
know why,
the
and the
B
fact
is the B is the only one that's chosen riders because at this point it has a third rider, Kageyama.
who, by the way, is probably the least worthy in my opinion out of all of them. I would have rather it stayed with the perfect harmony guy, but the perfect harmony guy comes back later, being actually extra funny.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think there's many people like a lot of them just get to keep like they get to have two like multiple of the Zectors at different points. At least Kagami at this point has gotten to later in the series the others will get different ones, but Kageyama is a character that's introduced as part of Shadow and ends up gaining the bee. He becomes the bee, which for some reason the bee brands its owner with a tattoo as long as they're worthy of it. Remember the chest tattoo that they kind of just don't talk about ever again?
No, actually, I've forgotten all about that.
Yeah, they like Kagami just had like a chest tattoo of the bee on his chest whenever he became worthy of the bee. Which I can only assume Kageyama had that too until he became unworthy. Which I don't know if we've seen Kagami's chest afterwards. He may just have a bee tattoo now. Like that may just be on him forever. I doubt it, but it'd be very funny if it just brands them every time it has a new rider. Let's see.
I'm trying to think about what other plot points in the show that was kind of very silly.
The Dark Kitchen's not super long after that, but we have like the ramen ep. Oh, the ramen episode, Khalil.
Ramen episode.
The one where the man got cloned by the worm, but there was
Oh
like three of them.
yeah,
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 there's one dude gets cloned by a worm, and
yeah.
this guy running a ramen cart just like sees this doctor who gets tore up like drunk every time he goes over there, and when he gets called in for surgery, he's a surgeon. This nurse slaps the shit out of him, and
To
then he is
sober
the
him up.
best. Yeah, but and then he is the best surgeon ever, like performing miracles. He goes back to the ramen cart, gets drunk. Well, as the episode goes on, we see two of him, and then we see a third of them, and they're all just like doing the same thing, and the ramen shop owner is just completely does not care that this guy has three of him inside of there. But one's just asking the other, "So how'd the surgery go?" "Oh, it went great," and they're just having all this like
Yeah,
this whole conversation. And what was the agreement he had with the worms? Like, was it that they'd let him live as long as they got to also copy him?
yeah. Basically, hide in plain sight or whatever. The worms were at this point were also starting to get more sentient. Like they were acting more like people. Actually acting like more like people and not just like randomly attacking people. Excuse me. The mold. There was always a molten bird or worm that always was trying to hide within the humans.
Well, it's like at a certain point, I think it's like the halfway point of the series. We'll say like episode like after the Dark Kitchen stuff, maybe a little bit before it, we get what's her name? The first worm that's like sentient that's involved with like a lot of this stuff. Worms. I see
The female one.
Mamiya. Rina Mamiya. She is the like this white worm that has like human-esque lips for some reason when she's in her worm form, but she has a big claw hand. She's the first worm that just beats the shit out of the riders anytime she appears. Um, Let me see how many episodes we got until that. Shocking fact, puzzle unraveled. The Hellish Brothers. We'll talk about that later.
So a lot of the time, and I think this is just a because it's how Japan likes watching Kamen Rider. It seems like it's a villain of the week that takes too many weeks to defeat.
Well, no, so it's villain of the week on every episode until we get to Mamiya, because she's the first like villain that stands out. Like she's this woman that has funeral attire on, and so does her entire group of worms that are that we fight throughout the series. Uh, we haven't even talked about like the fact that whenever Kabuto or Gatak have to do their like rider kicks, they always have to do these like mess with their belt buckles like a lot. Like
So every time they have to do a rider kick, it's they have to press three buttons, and it just counts up 1, 2, 3, and then he locks it in, and then he can do a rider kick.
it announces rider kick, and then he round. So Kagami does like a jump kick usually. A lot of the times, especially early in the series, Tendo does like a roundhouse. Like he just the opponent is to his back. He does a full turning roundhouse kick to the head and just kills them.
Let's not okay. First, going back to Tendo. Tendo is the funniest guy to see in a fight because of the way he fights. The way he fights is literally just like a guy who knows how to fight, and he's just fucking with you the whole time. It's like drunken fist kind of a fight, but not exactly. Uh,
He one of my favorite moments for Tendo when he's fighting like a crowd of worms. He just does punch punch kick one, punch punch kick two, punch punch kick three, rider kick, and then just kicks like two or three of them and then explodes them.
yeah. Uh, and also, okay, so not only do they have a cast off form, but apparently, if they know they're about to suffer a lot of damage, they have a put on thing where they put the armor back on, which is something kind of like randomly thrown in. I
They
guess.
really do it. The cast off put on stuff is like for them to sell toys because they have to show like it gives everybody two sets of armors that they can wear.
Yeah.
They all look cool though. Like I like what is it, Sugiri's form where he's got like the orange tubes going on throughout his whole suit and stuff, and sometimes the tubes get torn from combat. Sometimes the
Speaking
tubes get torn from
speaking
combat.
of Sagiri, we find out later that Sagiri is a worm.
Yeah,
The
you
ex-
already said that.
no, I don't think we did.
Yeah, you said you announced with excitement that Sugiri is a worm.
Oh well, I don't remember saying that.
It's
Uh, and he's so he ends up being the worm that killed his sister that he keeps thinking about trying to kill. Well, he doesn't want to kill his sister. He wants to kill the worm that killed his sister. But he's that worm that killed his sister, apparently. And apparently, the only person who knew this for the longest time was Gia.
Yeah, Gia let me down.
And apparently, his only reasoning for like not telling people about this was, I want him to continue the Disabel family.
He wants him to. He wants Sugiri to live on somehow. It doesn't matter how, as long as he lives on. And it really let me down that Gia was like this, but Gia like somehow the series made you want to accept Sugiri at Sugiri was like the character that made me like Tendo because he was like even more uncomfortable and like overconfident in himself than Tendo was. And so it made Tendo seem like he was more rational. It made him seem like he was a calmer character. But then they made me like Sugiri by making
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. So I am in an area where I just saw a horse walk over lava, and just be okay.
oh,
I don't know how he did this, but good for you, my man.
I found another gold dragon coil.
Gold dragon?
The one that's made out of all that gold that you can like harvest all of it.
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot
Continue.
of those. Um, so I was talking about Sagiri, right?
Yeah.
Sagiri is like a. I liked him for the little bit. But when he first was shown, like you said, I didn't like him at all. He was really like just like a somehow worse than Tendo. Like he
Yeah, he
made
was obnoxious.
yeah, he made Tendo seem like a cool guy, which I guess also was what Tendo was going for because there's a lot of episodes where he just wears a like a biker jacket with no sleeves. And I
That's
guess
true.
and I guess that was also trying to make it appeal to be a cool guy. Um, but um, let me try to think about how I want to say this. Uh, Sugiri ended up being another character I ended up liking, only because he ended up being the background funny guy. Especially the one episode where he decided to like just try to be the best at everything, and then he wanted to get a clothes of the guy across the street, but when the guy looked, it was a school kid.
Yeah, he was just a school kid, so he dressed him in like the shortest shorts ever. Like he had
Yeah,
the shortest shorts on. He should have he could have if it was America, he would have had a little propeller hat.
that is true. He would have had a little propeller hat if he was American. Um, excuse me. But it just ended up being a background character. There was even one episode where he just sat there and did magic.
Yeah,
And
he's just in the background blowing up a wand to make a flower.
yeah, it made me laugh because it's like all this serious shit's going on, and he's back there like blowing up a flower. Uh,
I ended up loving his character by the end of the series.
yeah, he also had a very like sad ending where he finally realized he was a worm.
The thing that killed his sister and he killed himself, and he hated himself for it. The worm, it's presumed that the worms can lose themselves in the memories of these people, and they just don't they don't accept themselves as the worm anymore. They start to have human emotions and think of themselves as the people that they mimic. It's a little weird.
It is a little bit weird. Um, it also depends. I guess it depends on when they mimic stuff because like I guess that's when they gain a conscience is when they first mimic somebody, and usually it's used as the bad guy. But I guess if the guy they mimic is like subconsciously good or something, they just lose all their ability to be bad.
Well, they had the heart of the worm or the heart of the human. Because remember, Mamiya had the same thing when she had, like in the later series, going back to Mamiya as one of the antagonists, she gets hurt real bad and ends up losing her memory and living as a human for a little bit. And Daisuke actually had like sort of a relationship with her. It was implied relationship. Like he had feelings for her. At least it seemed like he did, and it became a big part in the series that Mamiya. That's basically how she got beaten, right? Was that she like was weakened by the human emotions, and they were able to take her out.
Yeah. So she ended up being like a.
Oh, Khalil, I found a shocker village.
Oh hell yeah! I'm coming towards you.
It's a zombie village, so they should be here somewhere.
Love you.
Love you too. You going to sleep?
Yeah. Mama doesn't want to brush my hair.
Okay, let go.
But I want to keep it like a mirror.
Okay. I keep forgetting your name is not Tripstar in this.
Check and see if OBS is still recording too.
It is.
Okay.
Cool thing about my setup trip is that I have 3 monitors. So I have Twitch on one side, OBS on the other, and Minecraft in the middle.
My setup at work is fancier than my setup at home.
Yeah.
This is that village you were looking for, right?
Yeah, this is looks like it's a Shocker Village. I think so. Why is it all zombies?
I don't know. I just thought that's what you were looking for before. But the last thing we ended on was Mamiya.
Yeah, so she had a like you said that she lost her memory. She ended up being who she was before. Like the she ended up being the person she mimicked and not the worm. And
Yeah.
after she gains her memory back of being the worm of the worm, she kind of like wants to give up on being the worm. Oh, hey, it's Tower.
Yeah, I'm here at it.
She
Oh, it's
gives.
trial chamber inside.
Oh, there's a boss up here.
Do you want to fight that while we talk about the next section of the thing? Do you want me to look up the next section first before we fight them?
Yeah, go ahead and look that up. Are these lights or are these fire?
Let's see.
Oh, it's
Dark
lights.
kitchen. Puzzle unraveled. Starting. Mamiya gets taken out shortly after this, and then we get into the school stuff. We get into the red shoes. Oh, they have berserker mode put on the thing. Where they talk about it, and then they. So the berserker switch gets talking about at one point in the series where it's just like they. All right, sorry, I'm all over the place right now because we didn't like prepare for this. We just wanted to talk about it and have our notes jotted down or our thoughts on this jotted down.
Holy shit! Hold on.
But Hiyori, the third kind of protagonist of the series, gets revealed that she is a worm of sorts.
Yes, she gets revealed to be a worm, and it explains why she's so awkward half the time, which puts to the theory that every person in the show that's like not the show's definition of normal, like Kageyama, or all of them, is usually a worm. But yeah, she reveals to be a worm. She's revealed to be a worm, which was also before what's her name gets destroyed anyway.
Yeah, because Mamiya is trying to turn her into joining the worms, which she does. Hiyori goes into basically Area 51 or Area 0 or whatever the big area is, and she ends up finding somebody who's been bound up inside of an iron mask in a jail cell and releases him after she's like given into like figuring out who she is as a person, because this whole area is tied to the Shibuya incident, tied to the worms, and tied to Hiyori. Hiyori goes in, finds this guy, takes the mask off of him. Turns out it's another Tendo, and basically this guy, some interaction between these two causes time to rift and sends them to another zone, like
The end of time, apparently, or something along that line.
some ambiguous zone where basically the only way to get there is to go where the sun doesn't go or whatever. It's like when a solar eclipse happens, which apparently happens a lot in this series, they go to the negative zone, the ghost zone.
So it is
Habitat
explained later on, Trip, that the whole reason the solar eclipse happens is because of hyperclock up. But we haven't even talked about hyperclock up yet.
Honestly, I'm mixed up on where certain things happen. Like you can talk about hyperclock up if you want while we fight this boss.
Oh, let me come back over there then. So hyperclock up is apparently a faster version of clock up. So apparently to the point where sometimes the clock up just slows down time to the point where it kind of stops. Apparently hyperclock up does it even faster. It's clock up and clock up.
Rider system evolution! Are you ready?
Are you ready? That's a lot of. I got him trapped, Trip.
I was trying to kill me. He was mad at me.
Anyway, hyper clock up. It's like, hey, what if I clocked up and clock up? And yeah, that was the whole thing. Oh, there's stuff on the ground I can't pick up.
There's another boss block in here.
Is there?
Yeah, as you go further in the tower. I'm not gonna fight it right now. My health is too low. Wait until my backpack goes.
Oh, there
But
is.
Hyperclock Up is there's a Hyperzector. It's another beetle. Basically, it's a side. Basically, it's a side belt buckle that clips onto the side of Tendo's belt, and they destroy it as he's about to acquire it. He needs it to find needs it to be able to like hyperclock up or whatever. A couple times in this, we've seen the Hyper Beetle, which I'm assuming Khalil is we're going to see the Hyper Beetle in the movies because we never got that explained how he went back in time.
Yeah, so he does go back in time, apparently. At first, we thought it was
In the series.
in the series. We also thought that it was that the other Tendo that we talked about, what that was him. But it turns out that wasn't even him. The other Tendo does have a beetle, but he has a dark beetle. Which
Well, I thought we were talking about Hyperclock Up first.
well, yeah, but it's also the fact that like this guy was helping them out for a little while, but it turns out it wasn't even him that was helping them out.
That wasn't Dark Tendo, Khalil. That was Future Tendo.
Yeah, and we still don't like you said, we still don't know how or why he came in there to help. Um, we finished the series and it still didn't really tell us at all. And like for the longest time, when we learned that the other Tendo exists, we just thought that that was just the other guy, since he's probably also has a beetle or whatever. But it turns out it wasn't even that. Um, so I want to talk about the other Tendo as well. The other Tendo apparently is a worm.
No, so they don't reveal that until later. He is a separate version of him. I mean, if you just want me to explain it, I can. That's kind of explained at the very end of the series.
I mean, we're jumping full back and forth on between everything, so might as well.
Okay, so basically, Hiyori was born a worm. The mother Tendo saw his parents get murdered by a worm.
Mm-hmm.
Hiyori was inside of Tendo's mother. Tendo's mother, when she died, the worm mimicked her and then mimicked the pregnancy. Hiyori was born from this worm, and then when the Shibuya incident happened, Tendo saw the worms again and saw them die. But also saw this girl that was begging for her parents not to be killed, realized that his sister had been had been basically mimicked by a worm. And so she being born on this planet is what they call a native.
Right.
And the natives are separate from the worms. The basic ones have like a big horn, they're lighter green, and they're usually good guys, at least it's presented as good guys at this part of the series. There's a couple ones that are still good guys throughout the whole thing. But Tendo, the black Kabuto Tendo, that was in the Iron Mask and ran away to Hiyori to the Habitat Zone or wherever the alternate dimension is a boy that got turned into a native when he was young and forced to mimic Tendo. And so he does not have an identity of his own. He doesn't act like Tendo, but he wields the Dark Kabuto. He does not wield the Hyper Zector or anything like that. And
No, as a matter of fact, it was more the fact that he was kind of captured by them, by Zector, Zect. He was just like, He was the guy who was trapped in like that Area Zero area place. He was apparently the treasure that they were guarding for some reason. Um, I don't know really much about that besides the fact that like he was not originally Tendo. He was just mimicking him.
Going back to the Hyperzector, this one dude that's like, we see him eating pills in the series. He works for, which we haven't even gotten into this cool. There's so much in this series. Kagami's dad. Kagami's dad is the head of Zek. He's
Right.
also like the police chief, or like high up in the police, in the local government, in charge of Zek. His right hand man is this guy that always has messy hair, glasses, and eats pills. Like he's not swallowing them; he's chewing all of his pills. And he is so bitter that people are going against what Zek is trying to do, that if he isn't going to be able to keep the Hyperzector, he's going to destroy it. So he throws it off of a building. They see it get destroyed. Tendo realizes that he could have always have gotten it, because the future version of himself gives him the belt at some point, which we don't see this in the series. I assume we see this in the movie. Gives him the belt, so he just reaches his hand up, and a future version of himself gives him the like Hyperzector whenever he needs it.
Yeah,
And so,
the beetle just like teleports or goes through a time portal to him. More
yeah, it just
spawners.
appears in his damn hand. Let's see, what else do we have? After that, we have two characters. So Kageyama at this point loses the B sector. Ringe is a character that is introduced. I think that's her name. That she's like a trained member of Zek that has like this wire weapon that she kills with, and both of them are like following Tendo around because Tendo works for Zek. He's acquiring all of the Zectors at this point. Or he was acquiring all of the Zectors at this point. He used all the Zectors that he was able to get as leverage for the trade with the Hyperzector. He wanted it because he knew he could see Hiyori if he goes to the alternate dimension. And the only way to do that is to get the Hyperzector. He takes. That's whenever Glasses Man decides that he doesn't want to. I'm refusing to look up his name. I hate that character, but he refuses to trade with him, and that's like when we get into the whole ordeal where he destroys the Hyperzector and then Tendo gets it. And then going back to Kageyama, Kageyama falls into despair. We then see a character come back. It is what's his name? I had it earlier. I have it on here. Where is it?
The Perfect Harmony guy.
Her Perfect Harmony, Yagaruma. So Yagaruma.
Yeah, he comes back as an emo.
He comes back fully gothed out, very depressed. He no longer has the B Zector, but he has the Kickhopper Zector. It's a grasshopper, which we never get explained where they come from. They, for some reason, don't have a cast-off feature. It hops onto him, and it is the worst fucking belt I've seen in this entire series. Like, it just has a little shelf on their belt right above their pelvis that the things like the little
Just sits on.
grasshopper sits on, like it's sitting on a shelf perched on him. The suit looks sick. I love the Kickhopper suit. Kickhopper suit looks sick. It looks like a very pointy version of original Ichigo Kamen Rider.
Which I think that's what they're supposed to allude to, because the original Kamen Rider is basically a grasshopper.
Yeah.
But then also the other guy who had the bee,
Kageyama.
not Kageyama, the other guy, the one I don't like that became his bro.
Yeah, no, that's Kageyama.
Is that Kageyama?
I said the names. Yeah, Kageyama's the one that ends up getting the bee like twice.
Yeah, who was Gatak again?
Gatak was Kagami.
Kagami. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Kageyama is the guy who becomes his brother after losing the bee. The bee also now just doesn't find him worthy. Wait, was it that he didn't find him worthy, or was it the fact that just Tendo took it?
I think Tendo took it and wouldn't give it back, and then it just didn't see him as worthy, and he kept hanging around Tendo to get him to give the B sector back, or like try to convince him to, and he just wouldn't. And so he cries about it until his big bro finds him and gives him the punch hopper sector. Somehow this guy finds two of them, not one but two, and they are both like grasshoppers. One's like a locust color, one's a regular grasshopper color.
Yeah,
And
and I think this is supposed to allude to like the original Kamen Rider V1 and V2, because one has Rider Kick, the other one has Rider Punch.
yeah,
Uh, and it was kind of cool for the little moments that they would, be together. But at the end of the day, they also just was like kind of being annoying with being emo, even to the point where one of them says, "I don't want to help them out, so I'm gonna chain myself up like it's BDSM."
like he has like
Arg.
some chains on him, and then he has like a trampoline spring over his torso, and like they're chasing like they're they're wanting to stay in the darkness because there's only one light out there for them or whatever. Let's see. After this, the next big thing is they introduce us this one blacked out dude that's like the edgiest motherfucker ever. He shows up and he starts beating ass without using his worm form, and
He
he stops time.
he also looks like the most "I'm gonna insert my OC man" ever.
Khalil, he stops time, but he also doesn't need to for like a lot of it. He stops time during hypersector, or hyperclock up,
Yeah,
and he stops. He doesn't use it much after a certain point in the series, and that's when they start beating him. Is when he doesn't use it.
I guess yeah. The writers just thought, "Oh man, this is too powerful. We need to nerf him somehow."
There's also
Let's.
three of him.
There's also three of him. Every time Tendo decided to, or Tendo actually just kills him.
Uses
Uh,
the Kamehameha wave and destroys him.
which, by the way, Tendo gained a new power up in the form of a sword, which needs the other Zectors to attach to it. Drake,
It's
Cesare, and
Sasori.
Sasor.
Sasori is the puppet guy from Naruto Shippuden.
Yeah. Um, Cesar, Drake, and the Bee. They all attach to the sword, and he gets this big sword which he can manipulate the size of it at any time, and or to shoot out a giant beam out of it.
He can use any of the attacks of the ones he can use sting slash uh so like sting slash blast, like what is it, gun, is it blast, I can't remember
I don't remember what. Oh, here's it.
what Drake's is.
I just teleported to another terrain. I am back in Helmheim. Oh, no.
But yeah, he has to press all the buttons. I love how many buttons Tendo has to press and how many levers he has to use to use any of his powers.
Yeah, so when he does get this big sword that he can just use in whatever, he has to press five different buttons, I think, before it can be useful, I guess.
I think
Uh,
it's four. He has to press all four on them because he has what? Kabuto power, the B power, Drake power, Sword power, and he just does like a slash or an Omni slash or a Kamehameha wave at something.
put this guy in Smash, man. We don't need Cloud. Just get Kamen Rider. He'd be great in Smash.
He just says fuck everything in this general direction.
uh, anyway, so I really like the series overall. Series was fun to watch. It's definitely not something that I would probably be in the future be like, hey, let's rewatch this. It was a fun
Well,
first watch.
we still have two things to talk about.
What else is there?
there's Sugiri finding out that he's a worm and betraying the group. He ends up like taking over. Like Tendo kills the first of the three worms that are this guy. So Sugiri just like shows up and they're like, "Oh, we can use you." And Sugiri's like, "Use me. I'm the best worm." And then just downs both of them. And they're like, "Okay, sir, sorry, we didn't mean to mean anything by that." And then they show up and there's a all-out brawl with Sugiri fighting Tendo. I think Kagami fights one of the purple worms and beats it, and then the punch and kick hopper defeat the other worm.
That was
And
when
then
they came back as 3 different people this time.
yes, and so Sugiri ends up like sacrificing himself because his whole
Also,
goal is
also, I guess we should mention Seguri's whole stick at this point in the show is, I'm going to be the best at X thing. I'm going to be the guy that stand on top of this. I'm going to be the guy that stands on top of this.
the guy that stands on top of debt
Yeah.
is one of my favorite ones he does. But he basically sacrifices himself because he doesn't want to live as a worm. He wants Tendo to help him complete his mission by defeating the last worm, and he ends up beating him. Which technically all the major worms are gone at this point in the series. We then have like 4 episodes left. Sorry, 3 episodes left, and in the last 3 episodes, the natives have come out of the woodlands, and they've been giving out these necklaces to all of humanity that turn red whenever worms nearby. And
Apparently,
so
whenever. Okay, so beforehand, a native is also a worm, but not the exact same worm as the other worms. These guys have like a sharp horn on top of their head.
on the basic ones, they don't molt. As
Yeah.
far as we know, they don't molt, except for 2 of them natives, which is Hiyori and Glasses Man gets revealed to be a native as well.
Yeah, Glasses Man also apparently. So I'm not 100% sure he's a native. I'm pretty sure he's one of the guys he also tried to experiment on himself.
He says he is a native because I was going to get to that. The necklaces don't just reveal who the worms are. They reveals who the worms are first, and everybody starts turning on the worms who are people that they know. Then Zek shows up and then kills the worms. The worms. Do you need me to wait?
Oh yeah, hold on one second. Let me go close the door. All right, that should be better. The door's closed. First off, sorry about that. We're both fathers and we both have children that just like to yell in the background half the time.
Mine's asleep.
Mine isn't.
But basically, the worms get taken out by Zek because these necklaces are pointing him out. Kageyama grabs 2 of them because he wants to give one to his big bro. His big bro then like disregards it. He doesn't want one. Big bro Cake Hopper says he doesn't want one of the necklaces. It then gets revealed that the necklaces are turning people into natives because the natives' answer to humanity is they're going to see us as worms. They'll never be able to coexist with us. So it's going to turn humanity in secret all into so that they can live on and everybody can be in peace. And obviously, like the humans have something against this. Glasses Man is revealed to be a native at one point. Kicks ass. He's kind of a cool design. He's the last like big worm that we see. Kageyama. I want to say this real quick. Kageyama gets turned into a native, and he asks his bro to help him. He turns into the punch hopper and then looks on to the distance at like the water. He's just like, Lenny, look at what is it? Yeah, Lenny, look at the trees. And George or Kickhopper turns into his into his rider outfit and then kicks the dog shit out of him from behind and downs him. It's only assumed that he has killed him, and because he is holding his lifeless body at the end of the series. the Kagami ends up becoming like taking over as the lead protagonist for this last little section. While Tendo is like under rubble because they had their big fight. Kagami ends up going to where Tendo left a message for him to relay that there's probably a broadcasting center somewhere that has a signal it's about to put out to turn everybody with the necklaces into natives. And Kagami figures out where this is, shows up. Who was it that threw the flower at the thing and messed it up? Was it just Tendo?
It was Tendo.
Yeah, Tendo. They're talking shit to Kagami, the native leader, and Glasses Man. Kagami ends up saying this is bullshit and tries to fight but ends up losing. Tendo chimes in and shows up and falls through the entire building and launches what was it? A flower at the meteorite, and the meteorite that they're about to broadcast the signal from starts to explode.
So is that meteorite the same one that destroyed Shibuya, or is that a different? Or is that the one that they alluded to that happened way long ago?
We don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Found another tower, by the way.
I got you. I'm not worried about the tower right now. But what else happens in the final fight? I think they just basically beat Glasses Man, launch him into. Don't they launch him into the meteorite and explode it?
The
I
Glasses
was
Man,
half awake at
yes.
this point. I was watching, but I was like also like it was late.
I mean, we
But they
could.
launched him into the meteorite.
Yeah. They did launch him into the meteorite. They then afterwards went up into the roof to find the other guy, who was the native guy who planned all this. And then fight him for one last time. And that was basically the end of the series.
Yeah, they send off the Zectors, and the Zectors fly off to never be seen again, supposedly. And everybody has like a big happy ending where they all live in peace. There's two natives that live amongst the main cast. Everybody has a restaurant or is involved in the restaurant business. Sugiri's the only one that did. Sugiri and Kageyama are the only two that didn't get to live on.
Yeah, it kind of sucked for them. But also it's like Sugiri all had a chance to live peacefully among people.
He didn't want to live as a worm, dude.
Yeah, but like he was also about to actually just like witness how to be a human because he also fell in love with Misaki, who is
Misaki.
Misaki. Uh, they fall in love with each other, and they're about to start dating. They bought each other a Christmas present, and that was when they learned that he was a worm. But what's it called?
Gio was so happy for him too.
He needed a whole.
Brought up,
huh?
Tendo brought up Gia in the last moments of Sugiri, and Sugiri's just like, it's not enough, and still like asked him to kill him.
Also, we should say Tendo has huge respect for Gia.
Yeah, as he should. Gia's great. We love Gia.
Apparently, Gia wrote a cooking on how to cook book, and he always keeps it on him.
That's what Tendo learned how to cook out of, supposedly.
Not to mention, halfway through, this man Gia got sick from constantly having to take care of him, Sugiri, and like, Sugiri technically doesn't do anything to like help him out on being sick.
He ran a ramen business and a like a noodle stand.
Yeah, to the ground.
He did a fine job by himself. He said he took people's money as donations.
He took people's money and they didn't want to give change back.
And they paid.
Which
If I
okay,
paid him,
hold on. Which, by the way, one scene where he did was working, trying to get money for his whole family, whatever. It pans out to Worms beating the shit out of this one random dude.
yeah, there's just three worms beating down on one guy out on the street. They're definitely not like trying to kill him. They're trying to take his money.
Either that, or he said something bad about him to the as the reason why they were beating him up in the first place.
Oh yeah, it turns into big worms and just starts beating down on bro. Oh, all in all, I really like this series. I think for now, I'd give this. IMDb kind of had it right, dude. It gave it a 7.9 out of 10. I'd give it an 8 at least. I gotta see. I feel like we should put a little tier list on the end of these things as to where we put them, and then when we revisit this later and put up another video on your page about after we watch the movies, we can maybe move it up or down based on how the movies change our opinions of the series.
Yeah.
And then whenever we watch another series, we can maybe alter the list a little bit each time because I'm sure that other series will make us think higher or lesser of this series.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of whenever a series actually has a plot point. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
What do you mean?
Like a continuation is what I'm trying to say. Like if a series has a continuation, I usually like that.
You talking about like how this movie is one's a prequel and one seems like it's like a continuation?
Yeah,
We'll see.
I
It
like
all
it. I like it when stuff does that. Um, but as long as it's done well, I don't like it when some stuff is not done well. I can't give an example, but I've seen series that gotten a sequel that probably should have never gotten a sequel. But
yeah. Well, that's why our next series we're gonna watch is probably gonna be Kamen Rider Kuga because Kuga's a series, and then Agito is apparently a really popular sequel to that series.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Because we're staying the we're
Yeah.
gonna stay in the Heisei period stuff at least for a little while because I really want to lead up to watching Decade, and I want Decade to feel cool when we get to it.
Yeah. So besides Kabuto, you have also watched Ichigo. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I mean, Ichigo is just cheese, man. Like it's some of the nastiest and like cheapest looking characters, but they were doing what they were doing what they could with the budget they had. What's really got me, I really like it, and I realized why I like Kamen Rider and why I like Ichigo a lot. It's because the creator of it created Cyborg 009, which is one of my favorite all-time series, starting from whenever I watched it on Toonami. And it's just got a lot of the same vibes. The heroes are all very, like, I guess, flamboyant. Like, the Kamen Rider shows up and announces himself every time he shows up. He does all these, like, where Inazuma kick came from the Rider kick. He's got the big Rider kicks. There's, like, a bunch of reversed footage of them going, like, they'll roll down a hill and then reverse the footage to make it look like he's rolling up the hill to fight somebody. They'll have like the second Nigo, the one that you kind of like, is he didn't have a motorcycle license whenever he became the Kamen Rider when he took over because like episode 13 or 14 is whenever Ichigo's the actor for Hongo got hurt in an accident and he takes over. And at least I haven't gotten to where they both go into the series at one point. But Nigo, he didn't have the license, so whenever he turns into the rider, he doesn't have to ride the motorcycle to catch the wind. He just jumps into the air, and when he jumps into the air, the belt catches wind, and then he transforms. Which in Shin Kamen Rider, you saw how Nego, whenever he appeared, didn't need to drive the motorcycle in order to gain prana and change into it.
Yeah.
A lot of that's the same. It's just a lot of cheese. The effect, how they do the effects and everything is really cool. A lot of stuff I've seen has been really fun. Some of the
Trip,
guys.
do you want to go to sleep so you don't get infected with the phantoms?
No, I'm fine. I've just been killing them as they come through.
But yeah. Also, we didn't in Kabuto. We didn't really talk about the fact that they got motorcycles that just randomly work sometimes, real well.
Only 2 of them do, and they have transformations. They cast off. So what the Kabuto turns into like a lance type thing that's like got this thing, and it does what the Hercules beetle does, and it just flips the other stuff off of it onto it. And Stag Beetle flies around and like cuts things. He has like a goblin, like
Yeah, he has a green goblin thing that
glider.
just flies around.
It's the goblin glider. Cool.
It is the goblin glider. But I've also been watching Zest. It's the latest series that's come around, and I kind of like the premise of this. You know, I really like I always like spy movies. You know, I really like 007, like 007 when it comes to the games. Sometimes also I think there's shows of 007 if I recall.
There's a lot of movies, and I don't know if there's like series or not.
But yeah, anyway, this guy's whole shtick is I really want to be an agent, and he comes to realize he can be a spy agent, but only in dreams. And this whole stuff happens in dreams. Whatever happens in a dream happens in real life. So, if a guy blows up a building in a dream, and that's how the dream ends for that day, for that segment, it happens in real life. But this guy also has the ability to combine with capsules. They're like little gotcha balls, sort of. But they all have a certain power that you can attach to him to transform. And also, I want to say the theme of this guy is reminiscent of like who's that guy? Like All Might's theme. Like every time he does something cool, basically has an All Might sort of theme playing in the background.
That's pretty cool. I do plan on checking out the series. Y'all are only halfway through the series, right?
There's right now there's 33 episodes. The next episode comes out in the 10th. So when that happens and it gets subbed, subbed, that's when I'll go catch it up, like watch it.
I have 98 episodes of Ichigo to watch before I'm done. I actually no, I have 68 episodes left. I've watched about 30 episodes of it.
Okay.
And, but do you know if Zestic is gonna end at 50 episodes?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it right now. It seems like we are getting close to an end, so it might be like 40 something episodes. Because of a certain transformation he has, I'm not gonna really talk much about it because it only just happened. But it has various plot points that kind of remind me of how Kabuto ended up. So, like the guy who heads this organization, there's an organization named Code. There's a guy who operates it. He calls himself Agent Zero. Later on, we find out that this guy, Agent Zero, is actually the main guy's dad. So it's like, it really reminisces how, like, in Kabuto we find out about Kagumi's dad.
Yeah.
It just gave me that feeling. But besides that, really not much I can talk about the show.
We'll talk more about Kabuto whenever we see those 2 movies.
Yeah. There's an Enderman flying all around here trying not to get wet.
Yeah. But I think we'll revisit this and probably put another thing out whenever and maybe change our rating. Like, what would you rate Kabuto? I think is what I wanted to ask.
Kabuto is like a 8 out of 10. It
Yeah,
is
so
it is a very fun show to watch. It kept me on edge every week or every episode. A lot of times it didn't make me want to like, oh man, I really need to go watch that next episode now. And I like it when shows make me do that. Keep me on edge, keep me interested.
there's
Um,
some plot points that didn't get answered, and I really want to see like what the meteorite was, because they talk about like the 35 years ago there being the natives existing before then. Was there another meteorite that landed? We have no idea yet.
Based on what was told, basically what was told in the show, it sounds like there was. Um,
Yeah, but 35 years separated. You're not natives. You're just worms that were there first. Natives.
they are uh, they are native to the current generation because apparently
Right.
that was before Kagami was born. Which, by the way, Kagami's dad is like a huge ass simp to these guys for some reason. Up
It's
until really the end.
well, it's because Tendo's what shit. Let me see. I think I have it pulled up still. Where is her name? Kusakabe. His real name is Tendo Kusakabe. Sorry, it's Kusakabe. Or no, Kusakabe Soji. And so, like, we know that his parents are the same as Hiyori's when it reveals, like, the whole picture thing. We just don't know, kind of, like, what the Shibuya, like, the scale of the Shibuya incident. We don't know, like, what it was like for the people, because they kind of acted like it didn't happen. They barely talk about, like, the area that they couldn't go to.
Yeah. Um, it was a bit weird. Um, it really feels like they missed the whole. Like they kind of had to hurry up and finish the series because they just didn't know how to explain what the event was that happened.
It felt rushed to you.
Well, for that specific part, yes. But
Supposedly the movie explains, oh, at least the prequel movie you're talking about explains it.
right, and I think it also might explain the time paradox with Kabuto coming in and helping them out throughout the series.
Yeah. Cool. I know Decade has a section where they go to Kabuto's world, but I don't want to spoil that for myself. I like Decade is the end all for the Heisei period for me, because I really want to watch. What is it? Uh,
You said Kiba,
I
right?
want to watch. I want to watch Kiva, Ryuki, and Kuga before we even think about watching Decade.
Yeah, I want to be able to know what the original worlds of all those Kamen Riders were before watching it. Apparently, Decade's like a celebration of all of them together, sort of.
But we'll have more thoughts on this when we watch the movies. In the meantime, like, it was fun talking about this after watching it before. It was a good series to go through together.
Yeah, I love Kamen Rider. That's why we're playing Kamen Rider Craft at the moment. Um, it's pretty cool. It's okay. So there's a video, a meme video of like this chick that has like a sword, and it's like this guy with his girlfriend being like pulled behind him, and then she turns around and that sword has like a dual mode, and then the guy just like runs up to her like all excited. I'm that guy with Kamen Rider. When Tendo decided, hey, I'm gonna hyper clog up or hyper cast off or whatever, which is a really weird thing, by the way, because he's not casting off. It's more like a transformation, because it adds on armor and it makes his like beetle thing larger.
We thought we were only going to talk about this for 20 minutes. We talked for like 2 hours.
An hour 45 to be exact.
Yeah, I think we ended here and we revisit it in the shorter one with about the movies.
Yeah, I'll just upload this to YouTube to keep on record as well.
Okay. I look forward to listening to it like years from now whenever we like watch other series.
Yeah.
But this was fun.
This was fun. Let me